Okay, welcome to Memorial Park, Pottstown. My name is Michael Lenhart. I'm the Parks and Recreation Director for the borough, and I'm going to function as your MC today. So please note that if you're one of my speakers, I'll provide a short introduction before calling you up to the podium. I'm going to begin by welcoming Borough Manager Justin Keller to the podium for some opening remarks. Justin has been the borough manager since 2017. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That'd be a bad one to get wrong. He's no stranger to parks and recreation infrastructure projects, having previously worked with Simone Collins and as a planner for the Pottstown Area Regional Recreational Committee, which is now an intergovernmental cooperative agency. Mr. Keller has maintained an unwavering commitment to improving Pottstown infrastructure, including parks and recreation resources, since joining the Pottstown team. Please join me in welcoming to the podium Mr. Justin Keller.
All right, thank you. Well, that was quite the build-up, and don't worry, I'm gonna pay you back for that. So, in just a minute. But thank you, everyone, for being here. We're very excited to share this moment with you here today. We're gathered here today not just to commemorate the opening of a bridge, but the resilience our community has and our commitment to improving conditions for the future. The storm that rocked this area on July 11th of 2019 was a harsh reminder of the severe weather events that come with climate change. In just 90 minutes, Memorial Park was overwhelmed by 4.5 inches of rain, causing catastrophic damage, including the loss of the pedestrian bridge that connected the two ends of the park in this quite, might I say, beautiful space that we have here. This event really underscored the urgent need for infrastructure that can withstand climate change posed by our changing environment. What we saw here was kind of like what we saw with Ida. With Ida, we didn't get hit very hard, but the eastern end of the county got hit very hard. With this storm, the Ole Valley, the Manatawny Creek got hit very hard, and the eastern part of the county didn't get hit quite as hard. The fortunate thing is that we didn't have any loss of life here in the borough. We were lucky for that. Other areas around us weren't so lucky, unfortunately. But it really kind of highlights the fact that there's not always a great way to try to fund these types of disasters, because when we got down to it, we didn't have the numbers, the amount of damages to qualify for disaster funding, even though it was very devastating to us. This was probably more devastating than Ida, whereas Ida, did qualify for that kind of thing. So we were very happy to be able to work with multiple agencies, multiple sources, to be able to get the funding necessary to rebuild after this disaster. So today, I think we stand on a bridge that represents more than just a way to cross the Manatawny Creek, but it represents our community's dedication to preserving and enhancing our public spaces, ensuring that Memorial Park remains a place where families can gather, where small numbers can go on a peaceful walk, or even for large gatherings for beloved events like the Pottstown Rumble and the Go Forth event that we just had here for the 4th of July. And of course, I have to mention that this project wouldn't have been possible without the tireless efforts of Mike Lenhart, our Parks and Recreation Director. Over 5 years, he diligently assembled the necessary funding, threading the needle through various grant sources to make this vision a reality. His work, often behind the scenes, is a testament to his dedication to Pottstown and the well-being of its residents. Mike, this bridge stands here today because of you and your commitment for perseverance. Thank you. We also owe a debt of gratitude to the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. So we are blessed to have Cindy Dunn here with us today, who you'll be hearing from later on. They were a primary funder to getting this bridge constructed. Also, we've got Montgomery County commissioners here, Jamila Wittner, Tom DeBello, amazing commissioners, and Neil Mahika. we really couldn't have done it without their Monco 2040 grant, which I was explaining earlier is a perfect match to the state money, because oftentimes we can get grants, but they don't match the state money that is out there. So that was very, very vital to us. And then additionally, we want to extend our thanks to the Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation, whose support has been crucial, not just in the funding, but reinforcing the importance of these community projects and parks and recreation to the health and wellness of our citizens. So we cobbled together all these sources to make this possible, and I really appreciate that. So I think just in closing, let's just remember that we'll go over and we'll look at the bridge today, but let's think about this as more than just steel and concrete. It's a promise to our children and future generations that we will continue to protect and cherish our parks, ensuring they remain vibrant and accessible for all. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Justin, and thank you for the kind remarks. It's very nice of you. Thank you. My pleasure. All right. Cindy Adams Dunn is the Secretary of the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, which manages 124 state parks and 2.2 million acres of state forest for recreation and other values, provides conservation and recreation technical assistance, and a large related grants program, and operates the Pennsylvania Geological Survey. At DCNR, she has helped position Pennsylvania as a leader in land conservation, outdoor recreation, green practices, and public land management. During her tenure, the department created the Pennsylvania Outdoor Corps to connect youth and young adults with job opportunities relating to the outdoors and the environment. Under her direction, Pennsylvania continues efforts to address the impacts of climate change, as well as providing leadership on planting forest buffers along streams to improve water quality. Dunn has worked in both the public and private sectors. She served in several leadership posts at leading environmental advocacy groups like Audubon, Pennsylvania, the Alliance for the Chesapeake Bay, Chesapeake Bay Foundation, and Penn Future. She is trained as a biologist, and when not at work championing conservation, her hobbies include birding, fishing, canoeing, and hiking. Please join me in welcoming to the podium Secretary Cindy Dunn.
Thank you for the kind introduction, and good to be with everyone here today. It's funny, when this invitation came in to me, before my secretary fully described it, I heard it was Pottstown, heard of this bridge, I said yes, yes. Even before I knew the date, even before I knew it was possible. I see this bridge as emblematic in connections. It's more than just a bridge connecting two parts of a park, but it's a recognition of the leadership in this area, connecting communities to nature, the connection of Pottstown, the connection of Schuylkill River Trail, the river itself, the connection of recreation to health, which I'll talk about in a second, and the connection of recreation to the economy. This project in this area benefits from great leadership. I know that for us, the relationship with the borough is deep and long, and we see Pottstown as a real model for the connection with health and wellness and recreation and outdoors. Our leadership at DCNR in this region, Drew Gilchrist, who's here today, it's one of the last times we'll see Drew wearing this official hat because he's retiring soon. And with him is Danielle Gutman, who will be taking his place very shortly. But Drew has had a long career in conservation, an important career with DCNR, as a real leader in our area, and a real guide to all of us, a guide and mentor to all of us, and understanding on the ground benefits of recreation and conservation. If I could just have a hand for Drew here. If you, it's great work. Drew is one of those staff members that I learned so much from myself. I'm really happy to spend some time with our county commissioners. I got to meet Jamila Winder on her first paddle in the Schuylkill River last year, the year before. Her first paddle, one of many for me, but she did better than I did because we had this upriver wind. I was working on a sore shoulder, and she just took to the water just wonderfully. But the Schuylkill River is just one of the amazing assets this area really enjoys, and that Schuylkill River Trail right alongside of it, is something that's a primary goal for DCNR to complete. I was just at the County Commissioners Association meeting in Gettysburg, and our county commissioners here were well represented, as were county commissioners from across the Commonwealth. But we at DCNR really look to county leadership. It's close to the ground and understands the big picture as well. And county commissioners have been our friend in conservation and recreation across the Commonwealth, and we recognize and acknowledge that connection. Our state legislature has been very kind to us. I see Joe Cerisi in the hallways of the Capitol all the time. He's tall and I'm tall, so like we can spot each other across the crowded rotunda. And Joe talks about this project a lot. Besides like bugging me to make sure the payments come through in time, he's asking about it and it's making sure I'm here. So needless to say, when I found out he wouldn't be here, I called him. Like, where are you? I'm coming. Where are you going to be? He's in Kentucky. The Senate and House in Pennsylvania. Good to see Tim again. Tim, good to see you here. And Senator Penachuk. We at PCNR enjoy support from our legislature that have given us the funding for this project, and others recognize our value to the communities, recognize our value to people and the citizens of Pennsylvania. We try hard to deliver that value for the citizens. Our longstanding partner at Pottstown Area Health and Wellness with David Crable, that relationship is one that we model across the state. The connection between health and recreation is well understood now. You read about it all the time. Much has been published about it. Mental health, physical health, addiction recovery, addiction prevention. My colleagues in the Shapiro cabinet are always talking about recreation as one of the solutions. So Department of Health or DDEP, drug and alcohol, everybody's looking at that. And recently, DCED, Community Economic Development, launched Governor Shapiro's Pillars for the Economy. Recreation is interwoven into those pillars for the Commonwealth economy and Governor Shapiro's plan for Pennsylvania. So everyone understands the value now, but our partners here in Pottstown were in early, very much early understanding of that connection and relationship. And it was one that enabled us to talk to other communities about investing in recreational amenities and investing in nature for the benefit of health. And as has been mentioned, the relationship of natural lands to climate and the building infrastructure, recreation infrastructure that's resistant to climate change, that's has resiliency in the face of climate change. Something we do across our system, as was mentioned in my introduction, we have 124 state parks, 2.2 million acres of forest land. We have bridges like this all over the place. And when we're rebuilding them with climate resiliency in mind. And many of these are out in the middle of the woods and kind of remote places, maybe a little difficult to see. So this is a good example of looking at a bridge and how you design and build for climate resiliency, which we're going to have to do across this nation and world at coastal areas, rivers, and any wet area in mind. It's also connecting people to water, getting people close to water. As the climate gets warmer, temperatures get warmer, people are going to be seeking water, getting near water, getting in water for health and wellness and safety and survival. So this kind of a connection is really important here. This pedestrian connection, it's a big park, and it's a big park, and connecting to your business district over in Shoemaker, getting people, it's kind of a multimodal situation where people walking through the park to get around for work, to get around for shopping. So we view that as an important element too of this actual bridge and this connector. As I mentioned, connection of recreation to the economy surprises people, even surprised me, to learn that recreation in Pennsylvania is a $7 billion addition to our economy. We're a recreation state, always have been, traditionally hunting, fishing, more recently all the boating and kayaking, canoeing, golfing, outdoor hiking, walking, gravel biking, mountain biking, biking on all kinds of bikes. Just all kinds of outdoor recreation, and it's real generative to our economy across the Commonwealth. And that's why it's baked into elements of our economic pillars across Pennsylvania. It's recognized as part of the communities that these businesses are an important element of the community across the Commonwealth. So we've been able to fund many projects here in this region, Montgomery County, in the surrounding region. This is part of our Schuylkill Highlands initiative, trying to bring more green space to this very important area. And we've had nothing but great relationships and collaboration here in this region, in the community of Pottstown and the surrounding counties and the surrounding municipalities throughout this region. So we're very thankful for that relationship. We look forward to it going forward. And again, happy to be here today to celebrate this important connection. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Dunn, and thank you for taking the time to join us today. All Parks and Recreation departments in PA owe a great deal of thanks to DCNR. DCNR funding and support, and these are two very different concepts, funding and support. Funding and support make a wide variety of park projects possible throughout our state and local park systems. DCNR truly serves all of the Commonwealth residents and visitors with equity. I would next like to welcome to the podium Mr. David Craybill, President of the Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation. Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation provided the foundational funding for this project, and its initial engineering funding was the first step in a long journey towards completion. We would have been lost without it being provided with a quick turnaround in order to begin the process of applying for further funding from the agencies represented here today. For over 20 years, Dave Craybill has served as the president of the Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation. With a focus on strategic planning and community development, Dave leads the foundation in funding various initiatives throughout Pottstown and the surrounding area. He stresses the importance for youth programs, health services, infrastructure, equitable living, recreation, and future planning. To its core, the foundation emphasizes health, equity, education equity, and economic equity. Dave's primary responsibilities include collaborating with the board of directors and its committees to ensure the foundation goals are achieved. He has also led the foundation in its transition from a private foundation to a community foundation, enabling the allocation of more resources for broader needs and a unified community. Additionally, he engages with community groups, nonprofit organizations, and school districts to ensure a better living of Pottstown area residents. Dave is also an active member in many community organizations, including the Pottstown Area Economic Development, Inc., Montgomery County Community College Board of Trustees, Grant Makers in Health, and a former member of the Tri-County Tri-County Area Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. He holds a BA in Economics from Carnegie Mellon University, Pittsburgh, a certification in Fundraising Management, the Fundraising School at the Center on Philanthropy, Indiana University, and a certification from the Penn State Management Institute. Please welcome a true friend to Pottstown, Mr. David Craybill.
Well, I have just a few words to say. I'll have to also recognize that I did not talk with Cindy Dunn ahead of time about her remarks. We have some parallel remarks to say. But I think we're really here talking about building of a bridge, right? And in many respects, we've had a bridge to collaboration and cooperation over the past 5 years to make a difference here and to respond to a difficult environmental situation. I do want to thank Cindy Dunn, who really had the early confidence in investing in Pottstown and the surrounding area through the Circuit Rider program. That also was our best way to recruit Justin Keller into leadership here in Pottstown, as he had his career ladder starting there. So good things, other outcomes from that. Also want to thank Mike Lenhart for including us on the list. I will say that I was afraid ahead of time he was going to say, I will give $1,000 for every time Secretary Dunn says health and wellness. So I probably owe you about $5,000 or $6,000 right now, Mike, based on that agreement. Anyway, Craig Callisto, our program officer, is here to keep record of that for the foundation. So anyway, I really think that we've invested, as Michael said, in feasibility studies. In this case, we leverage future government dollars. I always like to see more dollars come into Pottstown than leave Pottstown. I would like to think really that the collaboration of the nonprofit sector, in this case the philanthropic sector with the foundation, government, and the for-profit sector, is a really good thing and a way to advance Pottstown in the region. The impact here, from a health perspective, is that more people are active and they are busy moving their families. You can see them all the time. They're in the spray park. They're here with different activities throughout the year. Also, more visitors are attracted to Pottstown. People who haven't heard about Pottstown for the first time come back with a different, much more positive opinion about Pottstown by being here in the park. And also spend some money along the way at restaurants, et cetera, hotels, as they visit the region. And this is good for local business. Number 3, finally, I think this is good for government. It improves the social fabric that we have here in Pottstown, again, in the surrounding region as well. And it also, in the end, provides more tax revenue. So I think that's a win, 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 if I'm measuring all of those comments, for all of us here. I also wanted to mention that as we look at a bridge to serve the community here, symbolically, the foundation has become 20 years old. We, as you said, Michael, have gone from being a private charity to public charity. I can guarantee that this community can make good use of more resources in the future. And so we're planning for that future where individuals and other foundations could give to this region. That's part of the broader picture. I do know and have the experience of working with many of you, whether it's Drew Gilchrist or whether it's Michael, whether it's Justin, that you'll be asking the foundation for more resources in the future. And so we're planning ahead for that time when there'll be actually more resources to give out because we will grow as a community foundation. So that's a short story, 6 remarks. Great to have you all here, and thank you for all that collaboration. Take care.
Thank you, Dave. Now it is my honor to introduce to you Commissioner Jamila Winder, Chair of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners. Since assuming her role on the board in 2022, Commissioner Winder has exemplified unwavering determination in her pursuit to empower and advocate for everyone in our communities, especially those facing the greatest challenges. As chair, Commissioner Winder spearheads efforts to address our county's pressing issues, from tackling the affordable housing crisis to enhancing the accessibility of crucial county services. Her approach is marked by compassion and practicality, focusing on solutions that uplift the most vulnerable. Commissioner Winder draws upon a wealth of leadership experience from both the private and public sectors, channeling this expertise to foster an environment where Montgomery County thrives as a premier place to live, work, and raise a family. Please join me in welcoming a steadfast advocate and leader shaping a brighter future for all of Montgomery County, Commissioner Winder.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction, and good afternoon. So good to be with all of you. As mentioned, I'm Commissioner Jamila Winder, and I'm thrilled to spend my afternoon here in Pottstown. And it's great to be here at Memorial Park. When I was on the campaign trail last year, there were a number of events and things that I was able to come to here at this park, and I didn't really realize that that bridge was out. And so I want to congratulate our colleagues here in Pottstown for this big accomplishment. I want to extend my gratitude to Dave Craybill. We've gotten to know each other over the last 18 months from the Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation, and your commitment to community and making Pottstown a great place to live. And Secretary Dunn, thank you for giving me a shout out on my skills on the river. She was quite gracious. My husband actually did all the work, so we did a tandem ride down the Schuylkill, but thank you for your leadership and for being here today. And for everyone's support of this project, including our Planning Commission. We know Memorial Park is a wonderful asset to people of all ages right here in this community. Between youth sports leagues, playgrounds, a skate park, it's a great healthy outlet for our children. It's also a place where families can gather for all kinds of community events and shows, as I experienced last year. But without the bridge here, residents couldn't use this park to its fullest potential. So Montgomery County is proud to have played a small role in restoring this pedestrian bridge. And through our Montco 2040 grant program, we provided nearly $200,000 to Pottstown Borough to help repair this bridge and the bank of the stream right underneath. So to me, this project is about creating access. Beautiful parks like this one should be an extension of our surrounding community. They should be easily accessible to residents and certainly should not disrupt travel throughout your community. Our town centers throughout the county are vitally important to residents, but also to visitors in this area. So I look forward to seeing Memorial Park get back to its role as a unifier right here in Pottstown. And I just want to thank you for having myself and my fellow commissioners here today. And so I believe we'll give them a proper introduction. So I'll close my remarks there. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Commissioner Winder. If you want to introduce the rest, you may absolutely do so. Okay, well, fine, fair enough. All right. Commissioner Thomas DiBello has spent more than 2 decades serving on various local boards and community organizations, including the Springford School Board, Limerick's Board of Supervisors, and Economic Development Committee, and the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit. He also has over 25 years of progressive experience in designing and implementing large global technical software solutions in both the tax and defense industries. Outside his private and public sector work, Mr. DiBello is an avid supporter of youth sports and recreation through coaching and league management. Mr. DiBello and his wife, Diana, have 2 children and reside in Limerick Township. Please welcome our neighbor, Commissioner DiBello, to the podium.
Thank you. I was listening to all the introductions. I was excited to hear mine. I was like, this is really good. So the problem with going later on in the order of speakers, all the good stuff was already said, so now I'm going to have to wing it a little bit. But I'm really happy to be here with you all today. As mentioned, it's a beautiful day. The weather's cool and it's breezy. Maybe a little intro to what fall's going to look like. The overcast, well, it is what it is, but it's actually a beautiful day to be here doing this ribbon cutting. We have parks throughout Montgomery County, big, small, medium-sized parks. But this park up here is so special because of all the different events that are held throughout the year. And when that bridge was wiped out through that storm, it caused a real problem for the community that utilizes this park regularly. So trying to get around, as you know, when you're on that side of the park, trying to get over this side of the park to take advantage of some of the great activities that are over here, you had to make a big loop and try to get down here. So having this bridge back in place, it's amazing. And I know that the community is going to be very excited to know that this bridge is here and be able to get back and forth across the creek. Maybe you say creek here. I'm originally from northern Pennsylvania, up in the Pocono area, so we say cricks. But anyway, so it's really exciting to see this. I know that to see so many distinguished people here today also talking about how important projects like this. Look, parks are very important because we have a tremendous issue going on today in society, and our kids spend way too much time, maybe inside playing games or on their cell phones or whatever. And we got to get them out. We got to promote all our parks, all the activities. As mentioned, I was a youth sports coach. I'm big into the youth activities, and it's important that we get our children out. You talked about health and wellness. It's so important for our kids, for all type of development, and just playing out in parks, utilizing playground equipment, being involved in youth sports or different activities. It also not only helps them from a health perspective, but from a maturing standpoint, and also being able to interact with other people, especially from a diversity standpoint, understanding that we're all different. We're all the same, but we're all different, and it's very important for us to have our kids be in that type of environment, playing and utilizing and enjoying parks like this. So again, I'm really excited to be here. I can't wait to hear the rest of the introductions, who's following me. But I am going to take this one opportunity as well, as most of the Pottstown Fire Department's passing us. So one of the things that is a big project that I know is very important to a lot of you here in Pottstown as well, and something that I've been working diligently on and really trying to move forward, is the Keim Street Bridge. So I'm going to take 30 seconds and talk about that. And I know that for years everybody's been wondering and asking, when is that bridge going to be? Look, they don't even believe this is actually happening. When is that bridge going to be open? I'm glad to report that we are making that, from a county perspective, working with the state, we are making tremendous headway on getting that bridge, that project, after being closed since I think 2008 or 2009. That project, if it goes as planned, we will be doing some type of project start later this year. I know Pottstown community is going to be really excited, and I think it's important that we continue to let everyone know that it's coming after 14, 15 years of being closed. And again, you talk about connection points throughout the community. The Keim Street Bridge is a huge connection point, especially with Chester County. So we're really excited at the county to let everyone know that this project is moving forward. And if all goes well, within the next few weeks or so, we will be planning some type of groundbreaking later this year. So again, thank you for having me here, and look forward to being back.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm from Berks County. We've been known to say crick, so I'll stand with you on that one. Neil Makija, one of our county commissioners and the chair of the Montgomery County Board of Elections, elected last November, joins us next. He is the first Asian American commissioner in Pennsylvania history. Neil is an avid supporter of our country's parks and trails, and we're so happy to have him here with us today. Please join me in welcoming Commissioner Makija to the podium.
Thank you. You know, we're still in the early phase of our terms in office, and usually I have to do a pronunciation, so I want to give you a big congrats for nailing it. It is Makija, for anyone who's wondering. I'm going to lower this a little bit. Is this the microphone, or is this the microphone? One of these. Look, everything has been said. So I just want to say it's really a pleasure and honor to be out here with so many great public servants and leaders in the community. And this bridge, you know, it may seem like a modest addition, but if you think about all of the impact that we just talked about and the number of people that are going to pass over, the number of kids that are going to be in this park, it will genuinely have an impact on the community. And when you think about what Scott France on our team and the Planning Commission is doing across the county, how this is one project of hundreds that are happening, the vision that we have as three commissioners in terms of how we're supporting the work of the staff, how we're investing in infrastructure and making sure that we think about climate, we think about resilience, we think about the things that we can do to improve mental health for our children, as Tom spoke about. And I know Jamila cares about deeply. She has a young child as well. We want to provide opportunities to have parks and open spaces for every child in this county. And when I think about where I grew up in Jim Thorpe, the Lehigh River was a big part of my life and my childhood, and being able to go down to this river for kids to get on a bike and ride, you know, instead of kind of getting sucked into the Facebook algorithm or whatever. Actually, that's for old people now, so they're TikTok. But it's, you know, it's so important for the way that they grow up and develop. And I'm really excited about future projects we have happening in Pottstown and other investments that we've made, including with the pedestrian projects, the crossings, the bicycle trails, and all of that I think will add up to really create a bright future for all the young people growing up here, and opportunities for really of people of all backgrounds and ages to enjoy this great asset that we have in nature. So thank you again to all of our partners for making this happen, and just know that the county is here to continue investing in Pottstown across the board. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I'm going to pause here to reiterate that county funding for this project was another one of the key pieces, and certainly I would like to extend my thanks once again to Montgomery County for the support of this project. It certainly wouldn't have happened without the support of those funding sources and of all the staff there that help us out. So thank you very much. Oh, I'm going to put this back up. Sorry. Representative Joe Cerisi couldn't be with us today. However, he did want to make sure our state representatives, we did want to make sure our state representatives and senators had an opportunity to be represented here, as their letters of support and letters of recommendation are crucial to securing the funds necessary for infrastructure projects like this. This is off. Mike Hayes is a legislative assistant in State Rep. Joe Cerisi District Office. A former reporter for the Mercury, Mike has worked in the House caucus since 2019. Mike, would you join us?
Thank you, Mike, and it is fantastic to be here with you today. On behalf of Joe Cerisi, he does regret that he couldn't be here for the ribbon cutting. He's at a legislative conference down in Kentucky, as the Secretary mentioned. Our office extends our deep appreciation to DCNR and to Secretary Dunn for the $150,000 grant that has enabled this bridge to be reconstructed in the most enjoyed, most used park in Pottstown Borough. As you've heard, Memorial Park helps foster healthy outdoor recreation, building connections between neighbors and boosting civic pride. There is no admission price here, and it's open to everyone. As mentioned, due to severe flooding in 2019, this pedestrian bridge crossing the Manatawny Creek had been out of service. With these funds and through partnerships with Montgomery County, the Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation, and Pottstown Borough, additional improvements will be made, such as the stabilization of 200 feet of the stream bank, the planting of riparian buffers, and improved ADA access. It is our hope that with government partners at all levels, we can help commit additional resources and dollars to climate resilience and preparedness. We have all witnessed the increased intensity of storms and flash floods in recent years and days. As a matter of fact, in the United States, we've been tracking weather since around 1850. And for about 100 years of the record, from 1895 to 2000, the rate of change in annual rainfall was less than 1/3 of an inch. However, since that time, since the turn of this century, it has been changing about 7 times that rate. So obviously that has major impacts for our streams, creeks, and cricks. The Commonwealth has benefited greatly from the Federal Infrastructure and Investment Jobs Act, but more is needed. Our state's 6,000 local parks face an estimated backlog of $1 billion in infrastructure projects. That's according to the American Society of Civil Engineers. In closing, it is all about partnerships, as many of you have mentioned. And as we work together across party lines, as Joe likes to say, more is still to come, and I want to thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Mike, and our thanks again to Representative Cerisi and his office for the collective support of Pottstown. Let's see. Senator Tracy Pennycook couldn't be with us today. Miss Elizabeth Ferry is here from her office, and she was kind enough to present us on behalf of the senator with a certificate of recognition for the Pottstown Parks and Recreation Department, which we very graciously receive, and we thank you for recognizing our hard work collectively towards restoring this connection. Senator Pennycook has been representing Pottstown in the 24th District in Harrisburg since 2023, and we thank her for her support as well. And I'll say, Ms. Ferry declined to speak today, otherwise I'd welcome you up. Thank you again. All right, as noted throughout, this project of high importance was completed with the support of multiple bodies represented here. It'd be impossible to adequately thank all of the parties and professionals who made this project a reality, but there are a few individuals I'd like to recognize at this time. I'd like to recognize the County Planning Commission, including, and I didn't do the pronunciation planning ahead of time for this, Ann Leavitt Gruber. Did I do that correct? Close enough, okay. And Scott France, that was an easier one. So thank you very much for your support. I'd like to thank all our engineers at Herbert, Rowland, and Grubik, who were our engineers on this project, and you provided some excellent service, including Sean Fabian, Tyler Halbert, and Corey Salmon. Thank you to HRG. A man who's probably been thanked 1,000 times in his career and is still likely not adequately recognized. I'd like to double dip and thank Drew Gilchrist of DCNR one last time on behalf of Pottstown. Thank you. It's always been a pleasure working with you, except for that 6F violation time. I'm not forgetting about that. I'd also like to recognize our grant writers at the borough, including Tricia McCloskey, she's of the Pottstown Area Regional Recreation Committee, as well as Courtney High, our grants administrator. It's really a team effort when we come to writing these grants, so everybody has worked very hard to make this a reality. My thanks also to Andy Graham in the Parks and Recreation Office for taking care of the project while I was away and seeing it through its final days. I greatly appreciate your assistance. And I'd also like to recognize our retired representative, Tim Hennessy. One of his letters of recommendation and support was integral in the early portion of this. So thank you once again, Tim. Thank you for joining us today and for your support. And then Senator Bob Mensch was also a supporter of this project, also made sure that he supported the project during the early stages, so I wanted to make sure we recognized him as well, even though he's not here today, but our thanks to him and his retirement as well. Okay. Now I would like to invite Dan Wien, Borough Council President, for the final words and to cut the ceremonial ribbon and symbolically open the new pedestrian bridge over the Manatawny Creek at Memorial Park. Following Dan's remarks, we will ask all speakers to gather for a photo on behalf of these funding bodies that made this project possible just prior to cutting the ribbon. So we're going to move over to the bridge head. You'll see there should be a ribbon there still. Yes, there. Okay, yes. I mistook the red bollard for a hanging ribbon. I was a little worried for a moment there. So we're going to move over there before Dan does the deed. Let's see here. One note, following that, we will be having Kona Ice available to all of our folks here. I think we were hoping for a hotter day with that in mind, but hopefully you'll still enjoy some Kona Ice on us. And the utilitarian note that I always have to make, if you do need the restrooms, we're utilizing those, the brick and mortar ones that are located over at our spray park. So check out our spray park as well. All right. Dan Wien is a council member since 2010 and council president since 2016 when he announced Pottstown is open for business. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Dan Wien to the stage.
I want to thank Commissioner DeBella for explaining the procedures and the situations to doing something like this. And you're right, the further down the list you are, the less that's left to say. Oh my goodness. We've had so many good partners working together to bring this to fruition. State, county, local, private, community, everyone coming together. You've all been thanked, and I thank you as well. But I do want to go one step further and thank the staff and the people that work for the Borough of Pottstown that did all the little things that put this together. I am so proud of our staff. Inside 100 High Street, there is so much activity that goes on. If you don't live there, you wouldn't know it. And I really, really want to thank Mike, your staff, Andy, and everyone else I can't think of right now for everything you've done to make this work. I stand here today remembering so many good things that happen in this park. We have the general park connected to Veterans Island. And it's not just for Pottstown. Pottstown was one of the first people, or first groups, for 8 municipalities to come together as a regional planner. And these 8 municipalities, we all worked together, and it was that time, the leader from Montgomery County Planning said, in the geography of this grouping, Pottstown has to be the hub. So to all the participating communities and municipalities, welcome to the hub. Enjoy our park. Enjoy Veterans Island, and we really think a lot of the veterans. The bridge that connects the two has provided an opportunity. In the main park, there are so many good things that happen, like the Rumble, the duck race, and many people view those events from that bridge. The bridge has given many good memories to the Pottstown town and the Pottstown area. And may we continue to provide good memories for all of the Pottstown area as we move forward into the future and progress our town. Thank you all for coming and helping. Shall we cut the ribbon?
Some serious scissors for you.
Whoa.
All right.
Can I be trusted with that?
I don't know if you can be trusted with that. So if you'll join us, we are closing out our ceremony, and thank you once again for joining us.